We've seen now Germany locked down, we've seen Austria locked down. We have, the concentration camps that they've created for the COVID population in Australia and COVID adjacent, people that are negative there. They're doubling and tripling down on this. And my theory behind this is that, even the epidemiologists now, they know that they have done so much damage to the population, to people's well-being, to children. God knows how many other effects are going to be rippling out from this, that if these things are true, if they are to blame for this, and there was no real reason behind it, there's no real science behind the lockdowns, they are the worst people, horrible people. Can't look yourself in the mirror, can't talk to your child because you are just the biggest scumbag the world has ever seen. And we now have half the population in most countries that have cheered these lockdowns on. And now they have so much, pot committed, to use a poker term, they are so pot committed that they cannot back off of this because the ramifications emotionally, economically, culturally, in their communities are so deep that they cannot allow it. They have to be right at this point.
Well, I've always thought about it as in terms of not the people that are invested in lockdowns now, but the politicians and public health experts that very much own that issue. It would be highly costly for them, perhaps in terms of political power and credibility, to turn around and say, you know what, I was 100% wrong. We're going to backtrack on this and we're going to pursue a more reasonable strategy. But maybe to Calum's point, it's a more existential threat to admit that you were wrong if your entire paradigm is expertise. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem: is that they've invested themselves into a particular view, and if your identity is tied to not a process, it used to be, to some extent, I don't want to idealize this too much, but it used to be that we understood in liberal democracies that the most important thing was not necessarily the outcome in terms of which party you were. It was about the maintenance and the integrity of the process, the democratic process, and so on and so forth. And I feel that across many, many issues now, it could be this, it could be the way Brexit was prosecuted in the UK. Many issues now, we're losing track of the importance of process, and that we think if the process doesn't fit our outcome, be it from the left or the right, that therefore there's a problem with the process. So, for instance, you've seen in the States, I think the Democrats have talked about they didn't get in the Supreme Court justice they wanted because actually the process was abused, but they didn't follow on. The Republicans didn't follow the norm about, with the guy a few years ago, the person at the end of Obama's first term, the Republicans resisted a late term Supreme Court justice. I think the Democrats, and then I think the same thing happened again under Trump. But now the Democrats are saying, oh, well, we need more Supreme Court justices. And that's just, as soon as you start trashing the process, then you have no more rules, and things end up being basically real world Calvin ball. I don't know if you know Calvin and Hobbes, the great comic strip.
Of course.
There's a brilliant game in it where they play this game where the only rule is there are no rules and you can make them up as you go along. And what we're increasingly seeing across the political spectrum right now, independent of anyone's politics, it can be from the right or the left, is you're seeing a lot of real world Calvin ball where if people don't like the outcome, they just think, well, we should change the rules.